Wounds is currently streaming on Hulu, but it's also a Netflix original over in the UK. So if you're in the United States, it's on Hulu. If you're over in the UK, it's on Netflix. And if you're anywhere else, I don't know if it is or isn't anywhere. I don't really know. Honestly, I don't know what the hell's going on in the world right now, because even In the Tall Grass, which is a Netflix original, just popped up on Amazon Prime. And I'm like, wait, what? I thought, what? What is going on right now? So that's nor here nor there. This is a movie I kind of put off for a little while. It's only been out maybe like a week and a half, but a lot of people were trashing it, and I just had so much lined up that I was like, I'm going to put this on the back burner. Well, today I got to it after Paul Shunk and a few other people that I know actually liked it. And I went into this expecting something very bizarre because of the responses I've seen, because of the reviews that I've seen from people. And I saw that the director of Under the Shadow did this movie. And that's a foreign director, and foreign horror is usually a little more on the bizarre side. You know what this movie reminds me of? This reminds me of a foreign horror flick made in America. Like, I'm going to tell you this right now. If Wounds was a foreign movie, and it was in a different language, and it played out exactly the same with unknown foreign actors, unknown here. It doesn't matter if they're known where they were, but if they're unknown here, which most are, people would be blowing this thing. Guaranteed. That's just how foreign films work. They seem to have this inability most of the time to be critiqued by the majority of people that watch them. They're just like, oh my god, foreign movies, they're just so amazing. And it's like, I'm not saying that some aren't amazing, but there's a lot that are just either subpar or not good. And a lot of times there's, oh my god, it's amazing. It's happened so fucking many times. We're like, oh my god, it's a foreign movie. It's in a different language. Isn't it just so edgy and unique? And if only Americans would make movies that were more unique and more interesting and more this and that. But then they put one out like this and everyone hates on it. You know, you can't win. But regardless, so this movie is about a bartender played by Armie Hammer. And whilst working, he sees a fight break out, and a couple young kids that were in the bar drinking run off because of the fight, and he finds one of their phone. He goes to his home after work, where his girlfriend, played by Dakota Johnson, is asleep, and he messes around with the phone, figuring out how to open it. He gets inside and he finds some weird stuff, and from there things start to escalate. As far as my thoughts on this film, I was intrigued. I'll say that throughout. I was kind of sitting there like, this is fine. Like, this isn't bad. This is just, I'm intrigued, but it was one of those things where it was like, all right, like, get somewhere already. Go somewhere already. And because I had heard a lot of people being like, oh my god, it's so bizarre, it's so weird, it's this and that. I'm not going to sit here and say it's like a super straight-laced movie and there's nothing odd going on or weird going on at all. Yes, there is some stuff. But I will say, I expected this movie to be way more out there than it is. Way more bizarre than it is. The movie's just rather uneventful, I think, is my biggest problem with it. And people are having a hard time figuring out what they just watched. I can understand that when it comes to the very ending of the movie. I think it's fairly easily explainable. I'm not sure if I'd even be right in my explanation, but it does seem fairly cut and dry to me. But as I said, I could be wrong on that. I didn't sit there going, oh my god, what the fuck did I just watch? What happened? Oh my god, now I have to process all this. I have an answer in my head. It's good enough for me. And I just felt like the ending was, uneventful. It just kind of was there, and when it happened, I was like, that's where it's going to end, isn't it? And it ended, and I was like, And now I've watched movies like this with people, And when that happens, when movies end like that, you go, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me, especially in the theater, because there's a lot of people in the theater. That's it? Are you fucking kidding me? That's it? Oh my God, Jesus. They like freak out, man, because, they feel like they invested their time. Questions were posed, and now they're left with no answers, and they feel like they wasted their time. And, who am I to say if they're right or wrong, or if that's, good or not? I don't really care. I get it, but I'm just a little more open. So when this ending happened, I do watch a good amount of movies like this, so I was prepared for it, but it just left me kind of feeling numb. I was just like, the ending didn't really hit like it should have for me. And even though there was little hype to the movie, they hyped it up in a bizarre sense. Like the movie was going to be so outlandish and so weird and so bizarre that I was just going to be sitting there like, what the fuck? And it's just a rather uneventful film. I mean, this guy finds the phone. He's having a problem with his girlfriend. He's got a crush on some other chick who's dating another guy. And they're going back and forth. And that's like the majority of the film. There's not a big enough focus on the horror within the film. There's not enough tension from the atmosphere. There's very little atmosphere built. There's some, but it kind of just gets lost in the mix because there's such a focus on this almost completely pointless romance drama storyline. I just don't really understand the inclusion of it, because usually when those are added, they add to the tension later on, and it just never came. It felt disjointed. It felt like two different films happening, where I just don't feel like that extra storyline was necessary. I don't really see how it played into this movie other than to just add drama, almost like filler, because they didn't have enough to fill up a 90-minute time slot there. So it just, one of the biggest sins, if not the biggest sin a film can commit, is being boring. And there were moments in this film where I was just like, all right, like, let's get to the next sequence. Hopefully that next sequence has something bizarre going on in it. And just throwing odd imagery at the screen isn't bizarre to me. Like, you have to really go above and beyond with all the kinds of films that are out there today, with all of the art pieces that are out there, all the experimental films that are out there. With someone like me, you've really, really got to go like full throttle to get me to go, whoa, that was trippy, that was bizarre. This more felt like someone trying to be bizarre and just kind of missing the mark, because half of the film was pointless to me. I was intrigued by some of it. When he's looking through the phone and he finds some of the pictures and he looks at the video and all that, and something happens in that sequence, I was like, okay, cool. Like, that was interesting. That was definitely creepy and unsettling, and now I want to know more. And if anyone else was there with me on that, which I would assume a lot of people were, when the movie ends and it just doesn't give you almost any clue as to what is going on, it does feel kind of like a slap in the face. Because there can be an ending where, a lot is given to you, but you've got to decipher it for yourself, and you have a lot of like pieces to the puzzle, and you have to be a smart person that actually assembles them to come up with whatever version of that you'd like. And there's good debate and there's good theories and all that kind of stuff. That's a good non-ending, where you have enough to go on to theorize and come up with your own version. This one just didn't give it to me. I felt at the end I was just kind of like, I don't have enough information here to even fill in what just happened. Like, as I said, that's why I feel like it's very cut and dry. It's kind of just like, this happened, and this happened. I mean, we don't really have much other information than that, so all I can say is this is pretty much all I got. I don't see how anyone could else draw a different conclusion. So, yeah, overall, I think it's a failure. But there's some good stuff going on in here. It's just not enough. And the ending is not working. So there's my thoughts on it. It's not the piece of shit everyone says it is, that it's like trash, it's fucking, garbage from beginning to end. No, there's moments that work and could have built to something. They just go nowhere. So I've said in the past many, many times, and I'll continue to always keep true to this, I would rather a film try to be unique and different and fail than a film to check all the normal boxes and technically succeed. So this movie tried to carve its own path, and I think it was a failure, but hey, at least they tried, and I'll give them that. So what'd you guys think? Have you seen Wounds yet? Obviously I'm not recommending it, but I know with reviews like this, some people are going to be like, okay, now I got to see this thing, see what the hell he's talking about. So, and I would like to hear your theories below, to see if they match up with mine on what's going on here. I don't feel like it's all that deep and philosophical, and there's not like tons of subtext or symbolisms, metaphors. I just don't see any of it there. But I could be wrong. Maybe it's deeper than I'm giving it credit for, and someone will blow my mind in the comments, and I'll be like, oh shit, that's what's going on. It's completely changed my perspective. Whoa! And I'll look like the poster. My head's exploding. Well, it's not exploding, but look at it. You'll know what I'm talking about. All right, adios.